we learned in the previous lesson the very basic thing about the for finding the upper bound and lower bound. Okay, let's say I have a number, any number, and I found the upper bound of the number is a. Let's suppose there is a number x and its upper bound is a and its lower bound is b. Then as a statement we can write it in this way. I can write it there is a number because this is a number whose upper bound and lower bound we found. I will say x is greater than equal to always it's greater than or equal to the lower bound while less than it is strictly less than upper bound. This is called the statement about the number. Okay. So if you are asked about the statement about the number, then for example, if a number x is given and you are asked that write the statement about the number x. So then what you have to do, you need to find the upper bound and lower bound of the number and then write this. Okay. When you find the upper bound and lower bound, it also give you margin of error. So if sometime the word margin of error is used, then also it means you will find the upper bound and lower bound of that number. So you will get the margin of error for that number. Okay. So please must keep this also in mind. For example, I'm going to take a question here. Let me start with that question. Just give me 1 second to upload the file and then I will come to, yeah, margin error or error interval. Sometime another word is used for error interval. This is error interval, okay? And there is another way to write that also, or it can be B, and for A we write this bracket because you know A is not included, B is included. Upper bound is not included, but lower bound is included with the number. So this is called interval, error interval. So if you are asked for margin of error or error interval, or even asked for write the statement, so it clearly means that it is for the you are being asked about the upper bound and lower bound. Okay. Now, there are few more things that you have to remember about the upper bound and lower bound. Let's suppose, because you know, sometime we have to multiply or divide or subtract or add the numbers. So in that case, there are certain rules that all of you must have to remember. Let's suppose there are two numbers, A and the other number is B, and you are asked about to find the upper bound of A multiply B. Because sometimes you need to take the upper bound of A multiply B. Then the formula will be upper bound of A multiply B will be equal to upper bound of A multiply upper bound of B. I mean, if you multiplication, so you need upper bound of both the numbers. This is rule number one. Now, rule number two is if you need to find the lower bound of A multiply B. So you need lower bound of A, you need lower bound of B. So it will be equal to lower bound of A multiply lower bound of B. Okay. Number three is sometimes you need to find the upper bound of A plus B. Then you need again the upper bound of both the numbers. You need the upper bound of A plus upper bound of B. Rule number four is if you need the lower bound of A plus B, then you need the lower bound of both the numbers. I mean it is lower bound of A plus lower bound of B. Okay. And now this rule carefully. Upper bound of A minus B. Then you need the upper bound of the first number minus the lower bound of the second number because for subtraction, because upper bound means the maximum value. Sometimes if the word is used maximum, find the maximum or the minimum. Okay. So upper bound gives you the maximum and the lower bound gives you the minimum. So in that case, upper bound of A will be for A minus B, because if this value is maximum, this is minimum, then you will get the difference as a maximum. So upper bound of A minus lower bound of B. Then rule number 6 is, if you need to find the lower bound of A minus B, then what you will do, you will use the formula. If you need the lower bound, so you will use the lower bound of A minus upper bound of B. This will be rule number 6. Rule number 7 is about the division. Like if you need to find the upper bound of A divided B, mean when division is involved, so you will take the upper bound of the numerator over lower bound of the denominator. And rule number 8 is, if you need to find the lower bound of A over B, then we will use the lower bound of the numerator over upper bound of the denominator. Okay, that will be in the case of division and subtraction only. Time, even if you did not, don't worry. These rules you have to remember, because look here. Previously, we were finding the upper bound and lower bound of single numbers. Like one number was given and you were asked to find the upper bound and lower bound. But sometime it might happen that you have the two numbers and then we have to combine them. Now, how we can combine? We can combine, like we can combine by multiplying the numbers. We can combine by adding the numbers. We can combine by subtracting the number. We can combine by dividing the numbers. Okay. So, for example, if you combine the numbers in this way, that A multiply B, okay. For example, in case if you have a rectangle, I will give you, because mostly you have to use it in this case. If you have a rectangle and this is, let's suppose X is the length and Y is the width of the rectangle. So how do we find the area? We find the area as length multiply width. Okay, will be X multiply Y. Now multiplication is involved. So if you have to find the upper bound of area, if you need to find the upper bound of area, so it means you need to actually find the upper bound of X into Y. Yes, upper bound of X into Y. So then what it will be? Upper bound of X into Y. Now for the multiplication rule number 1, when the two numbers are multiplying and you want to find their upper bound, so you will find the upper bound of first, upper bound of second. So if a rectangle is given and you have to find for the area of the rectangle, upper bound of the area, so you will find the upper bound of X multiply upper bound of Y. Okay, so that you have to remember. In the same way, if you have to find the lower bound, their multiplication is involved, so you will use this formula for the lower bound when we are combining the two numbers. In the same way, if we are adding the two numbers and you want like upper bound of A plus B, you have a number A, you have a number B, but you want A plus B upper bound. So this is the formula that you have to remember. In the same way, for lower bound of A plus B, this formula will be. The only difficulty where you will feel it is about the division and subtraction. For example, if you have to find the upper bound of A minus B, then you will use this formula. You will find the upper bound of first minus lower bound of the second. In the same way, if you have to find the lower bound of A minus B, then you have to use the lower bound of first minus upper bound of the second. In the same way, if you have to find the upper bound of A over B, then you have to find the upper bound of first over lower bound of the second. And in the same way, if you have to find the lower bound of A over B, it will be the lower bound of numerator over upper bound of denominator. Just remember this formula. How we have to use, I will let you know, don't you worry. Okay, just make sure that these formulas are clear, that you understand these formulas. Then how to use, I will let you know by giving the example, because unless you will not use this example, of course it's hard for you to understand. Okay, let's see. I have a question here. Now, one more thing before finding the upper bound and lower bound, units. take care about the unit. For example, centimeter, and this is degree of accuracy. Question is, a wooden toy is 6 centimeter tall to the nearest centimeter. Centimeter mean 1 centimeter because if nobody, it's 1. The units should be same. Then you can find the upper bound and lower bound. If units are not same, we will convert, and we learn already how to convert from one unit into another unit. Okay, that is why I took first conversion and then I came to upper bound and lower bound. So if unit is involved like centimeter, kilogram, whatever, for the degree of accuracy and for the actual number, the units should be same. If the units are not same, you have to make them same. In this case, the units are same. Okay, like a wooden toy is 6 centimeter tall to the nearest centimeter. What is degree of accuracy? Degree of accuracy is 1 centimeter. Now you have to find the upper and lower bound for the height of the toy. Okay. Now what is height? Height is 6 centimeter. Now what is degree of accuracy? 1 centimeter. Now what we have to do for upper bound and lower bound? First half the degree of accuracy. It will become 0.5. Now for upper bound, add this, and for lower bound, subtract this half of the degree of accuracy. So this will become 6.5. This will become 5.5. The same rule, just simple. Okay. Now, next is the mass of a toy is 2.2 kg to the nearest 0.1 kg. Now, what is mass? Mass is 2.2 kg. What is degree of accuracy? This you need not to write. I'm just writing so it should fit in your mind. What is degree of accuracy? Simon, can you tell me what is degree of accuracy? Whatever is after the nearest, that is degree of accuracy. It is 0.1. It can also be 1 decimal place. Yes. So right now it is given the degree of accuracy is 0.1 kg. Unit are same. So you are lucky units are same. If unit will not be same, we will write same. Now the question is find the error interval. When you are asked to find the error interval, it means you are asked actually to find upper bound and lower bound and then write it in this form. Okay, because here we write lower bound, here we write upper bound. So this is mass. What is degree of accuracy? It is 0.1. Now what we have to do, we have to, I have lot of examples. Don't worry, I have so many sheets, not only this one question. So like next 2-3 lesson will be on upper bound, lower bound. So don't you worry. Now, what is the degree of accuracy is 0.1. So how I have to find the, because I have to find the error interval. And I told you error interval mean you need to find upper bound, you need to find lower bound. Okay. So what will be error for upper bound? What I need to do for the upper bound? I have to halve the degree of accuracy. But it will become 0.1 divided by 2. It will be 0.05. Okay. Just can you please hold on for 1 second? All right. So we were here. It's given the mass of the toy is 2.2 kg to the nearest 0.1 kg. This is degree of accuracy. Now we have to halve the degree of accuracy. If I halved, I got 0.05. Now for upper bounds, I will find the upper bound of M. I need to add this 0.05. It's 2.2 plus 0.05. So I will get 2.25 kg. And for lower bound of mass, I need to subtract this half of degree of accuracy. So it is 2.15. Now I have to write the error interval. So for error interval, it is already given. But if it is not given, you will write M greater equal to lower bound and less than the upper bound. It's 2.25. That is okay. Clear? Now next is the length of a log. Log, a very old wood piece is called log. is measured exactly 55.6 meter. Calculate the length of the log truncated to the nearest meter. Whenever degree of accuracy is given, it means you have to find the upper bound and lower bound. Okay. No, it means this is degree of accuracy. Nearest meter mean 1 meter. If you will halve it, what it will be? 0.5 meter. Now you have to calculate the length to the nearest meter. Length is exactly calculate the length of the log truncated to the nearest meter. Now what I have to do here, I will find for upper bound of the length is I will add this 55.6 plus 0.5, and for the lower bound of L I will subtract 5.6 minus 0.5, and then you can calculate. Okay. Now just hold on. Let me open the next one. Okay. Now next is the thing that I was talking about, the formulae that we write. It is a diagram of a rectangular garden is shown. Each length is measured to nearest 0.1 meter. It means this is degree of accuracy. Now this is length and this is width. Yes, you can say this is length and this is width. Calculate the minimum and maximum possible values of area. Now how do we find the area? We find the area as length multiply width. Now if you have to find the minimum area mean it is lower bound. So the formula for the minimum area will be, because these are multiplying, because if you have to apply a formula, then these formula you have to use. Now minimum mean lower bound. Okay. Maximum possible value mean upper bound. Now for the minimum value of area, as we know, this is the formula of area of rectangle. Always for the area of the rectangle, the formula is length multiply width. Now, if you have to find the minimum value of area, so you will use this formula. How do we use? Because you know, this is a formula for the lower bound of A multiply B. It is lower bound of A multiply lower bound of B. So right now, minimum mean lower bound. So if I have to find for them, I need the lower bound of this, lower bound of this. It will be lower bound of L multiply the lower bound of W. So it means I have to find for maximum. Now what will be the formula for the maximum area? Maximum mean upper bound. So for the maximum, if I have to take, it will be use this formula for as upper bound of A multiply B. What it will be? Upper bound of A multiply upper bound of B. So in this case, I have L and W. So I will write upper bound of L multiply upper bound of W. So use these formulae. It means you need both upper bound and lower bound for length and width. So first I will find upper bound and lower bound for L. What is upper bound of L? This is degree of accuracy. This is L. Okay. Degree of accuracy is 0.1. What is half of 0.1? 0.05. So it means you need to add this in 4.1, because this is length. Add 0.05. You will get 4.15 meters. Now what is lower bound of L? Lower bound of L will be, subtract this one, that is 4.10 meter. In the same way, find the upper bound and lower bound of the W. Now what is upper bound of W? Upper bound of W is, you will, in the width you will add now half of degree of accuracy, 4.1 plus 0.05, that is 4.15. And what will be the lower bound of W? Lower bound of W will be 4.1 minus 0.05. That is, sorry. No one even, W is different. W is 3.2. So it should be 3.2. Please always mention if I make any mistake. It is 3.2, so it will become 3.25. And 3.2 minus 0.05 will be 3.15. Now I have to find the minimum area. So use it in this formula. What is minimum area? Minimum area, I have to use the lower bound of L. What is the lower bound of L? 4.1 minus 0.05. Yeah, thank you, Varisha. Please be careful about the calculation. It will be 4.05. This one is 4.05. Okay, now what is lower bound of L? Lower bound of L is 4.05. Multiply, what is lower bound of W? Lower bound of W is 3.15. Now you can calculate it. Okay, let's calculate. 4.05 multiply 3.15. So we will get 12.7575. And what is the maximum area? Maximum area, you will use this formula now. What is the upper bound of L? Upper bound of L is 4.15. Multiply, what is upper bound of W? 3.25. So multiply them. 4.15 multiply 3.25. So we will get 13.4875. Okay. So, and square of unit, because area is always square of unit, meter square. So this will be the way. Now you can write the maximum area is 4875, and the minimum area is 12.7575. That you can round to 3 significant or even leave as it is, doesn't matter. Okay. Now, can you please rejoin? Everyone, please rejoin.